about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's almost evening, but yeah, just good afternoon to our fourth live AQA A-Level Geography revision blast. And this is our second on changing places. And I'm joined today by two of the dream team. We've got Abdirahman on the left and Suzanne in the middle. Actually, I'm not the dream team. It's Abdirahman and Suzanne that count. So a really challenging session again on changing places. Suzanne, do you want to give us a flavour for what kind of things we're going to cover? I know we've got lots of different activities for both the live audience and the replay audience. And then as soon as you're ready, we'll make a start.
Fantastic. Okay, so today we've got some really exciting games for you coming up. We've got the bubble quiz, which is always a popular one. We've got some categorized questions, a great big reveal at one point, the red herrings, which are our odd one outs, and picture grid, and to finish us off, some MCQs to really get you in the mood for answering all of those questions on changing places.
Brilliant. Sounds good. Shall we? We'll make a start because we've got a lot to get through. Here we go.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. Right. Okay, so we're starting with the bubble quiz. So the idea of this game, for those of you who haven't played it before, is that you are going to be given a reveal of 4 different answers, and you need to decide how many of the answers are correct. So it might be 0, so none of them are correct. It might be 1, 2, 3, or it might be all of them, so 4 are correct. So if we start with the first question, please. So the first question here is, which of these are types of secondary data? So A is a TripAdvisor reviews, B, environmental quality surveys which have been self-conducted, C, census data, and D, blogs. So I'd like to see some answers popping up in the chat, please, and see if you can work out how many of these are secondary data. Brilliant, we're off to a fantastic start. I can see lots of you coming in with some great answers. Yasmin, you were very quick off the mark then, and I can see lots of coming in the stream. Fantastic, absolutely. So can we have the reveal, please? It is in fact A, C, and D. So these are all data which already exists. It's data which hasn't been collected by you, so there might be a different purpose or inquiry in mind. Right, lovely. It's question 2. So remember, how many of these are correct? So these are, which are the indicators or domains of the index of multiple deprivation? So it's A, barriers to housing and services, B, employment, C, crime, and D, living environment. So is it 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4 that are correct? And if you can pop in which ones you think might be wrong. Yeah, good. We've got a couple of answers coming in. Fantastic. Not so sure for some people, not as quick, I don't think, for this one. Right, so the answer, if we can have the reveal, is actually all 4 of them. Okay, so index of multiple deprivation is a really widely used data set, and this classifies relative deprivation. To a degree, it measures poverty, and it's actually got multiple indicators which are weighted with different scores, which all compile together to give a single score of deprivation. Income and employment have the highest weighting, followed by education and health, then crime, then barriers to housing, so overcrowding, homelessness and affordability, and also the living environment. So remember those, and I'm sure lots of you have used index of multiple deprivation in either looking at your local or your distant case study. Fab. Right, question number 3, please. So how many of these are positionality factors? This is the context which informs your identity and affects how you may perceive a place. So remember, put down how many you think are correct. I'm waiting in that chat box. Who's going to be first off? Let's go. Yeah, great. Good to see some quick answers there. Fantastic. Brilliant. So the reveal, please, is actually, it's all of these. All of them can be or can affect the way you might perceive a place. And actually, if you think about it, the current demonstrations this weekend in London and other cities around the UK using the hashtag Reclaim the Streets actually highlights how gender, and specifically the female gender, how women have felt unsafe in certain areas after dark. Right, can I have the next question, please? Brilliant. So number 4, which of these are strategies for altering the identity or perception of a place? So how many of these are correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4? And if so, which ones? I think we've got definitely someone very quick off the mark there. Well done, Georgia, Robin, Becca, fantastic. Right, let's have the reveal, please. Okay, so all of those are strategies for altering the identity or the perception of the place, whereas deindustrialization is actually a process where a decreasing proportion of people are employed in manufacturing industries. So it's quite different. It's a process that you probably have covered through Changing Places, but isn't linked to the way we rebrand or re-image a place. Question number 5. So, which of these are statistical techniques for critically analysing data? Hopefully, if you did manage to do a bit of an NEA, you might have used some of these techniques. So, can you decide how many of these are correct, and if so, which ones? Okay, I've got a few. Yeah, some quick draws on here on the chat. Well done, Rebecca and George and Nitya. We'll have the reveal, please. Well done, thank you. So Interquartile range and chi-square. So interquartile, you're looking at the middle 50% of results in a sample and looking at how they're spread. It removes the sensitivity of outliers, so those extremes, the very high or the very low results. And chi-square, that tests the association and the statistical significance between variables, and it helps you look at the difference between your observed values and what you might have expected. The scatter graph and the geolocated bar graphs you may have used in your NEA or in your geography lessons, but they are data presentation techniques. Lovely. Right, I think I'm over now to Abdurrahman for categorising a big reveal. Thank you.
Thanks, Suzanne. This one's really simple. You would have picked up, if you were in last week's session, endogenous and exogenous factors. If you weren't there, just remember that endogenous factors refers to factors that are internal and originate within an area, whereas exogenous are factors that are from the outside, so external and relationships with other places. So in a second, I'll start the timer. If you could start categorizing in the chat, so just write, for example, endogenous 5 or exogenous 8, whatever it might be. Let's start the timer. Okay, so tell me in the chat as soon as you can. Do them one by one. Don't feel the need to hold them all in. Let's have a look. Who will be first? Okay. Remember, do them one by one. Okay. Endogenous 3, 5, 6. Thank you, George. Are those the early ones, do you think? And if so, you can move on to exogenous. Have a think about that one, Marthy. Great. Yes, they're all coming in now. Nice. Super stuff. Well done, everyone. Well done. About 5 or so, 6 seconds left. Okay, right, let's have the answers then, Jim. Let's have a look at these. So I saw so many correct answers in the chat. Let's have a look at them now. So for endogenous factors, we had site and situation, age structure, which is some of you might know as demography, relief, which is the height and shape of land, and also drainage. I heard someone note that drainage was an exogenous factor. It's actually endogenous. And on the other side, factors from the outside, FDI from a TNC, government urban policy, which we know is so important in cities such as London in the past and currently in other cities around the world. Immigration, a really big one, which has impacts on not just cultural characteristics, but almost every facet of a city. And then finally, sustainability. You might be wondering about why sustainability is there. It's mostly because a lot of the time, sustainable practices come from the outside and don't really always originate from the inside. So if you look at something like the transition town movement, they're very big on sustainability and they come from outside places and influence them. Right, I think next up we've got a big reveal. Okay, great. So the way this big reveal works is that we will reveal a clue one by one, and your task is to put in the chat what you think the ultimate answer is as soon as you can. So let's have the first clue then. Great. So this is a secondary data source, and you would have very likely used it in your lessons. Let's go for number 2, Jim. It provides data on the whole population. I'll give you a clue of the whole population of this country. And it's done in other countries, to be fair, rather than just a sample. Let's have a look. Yasmin's come in already. Let's have 3 then. It helps organizations, like local councils, for example, make planning decisions around planning and funding. Okay, most people are getting this right. Let's have 4 and 5 together then. It will be completed on the 21st of March. Some of you, in fact, some of your parents may have done this already. Let's have number 5. It occurs every 10 years. And let's have the answer. It is, of course, the census. You were all bang on there right from the beginning. So well done on that. I'll hand back to you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Right, okay, this is one of my favourite games. I really enjoy red herring. So for those of you who haven't seen before, basically what we've got to do is find the red herring. The red herring is the odd one out. And the idea is to identify the red herring, but then work out what is it that connects the other 3. Okay, so if we can have our first question, a picture question. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is have a look at these. These are all built environment features. Can you pop in chat which one you think is the odd one out, our red herring? I'm going to keep my eye on this chat, see who's first. Ooh, okay, I'm having a couple of responses. Okay. Oh, I think this one might have thrown you a little bit. Okay. Can I have the reveal, please? So, oh, Ellie, you did get this one. Well done. So the reason is actually both A, B, and C have all been designed to exclude people from places, whereas D is actually being built to try to include people in the environment. It's to make them feel welcome. But if you actually have a look, A is an anti-homeless bench. It prevents people from being able to sleep on it. B is a gated community, so excludes certain types of people. And C are actually anti-homeless spikes, which are put in foyers of buildings to prevent rough sleeping. So this is about exclusion. So the all A, B, and C all are connected by the fact that they're design features to exclude certain people from places. Right, question number 2. Right, so this one, factors affecting a settlement. Can you please work out which one is the red herring and what connects the other 3? Right, let's see who's going to be first. Let's have a look. Ooh. Who's going to get in there? Come on, just give it a go. Decide which one you think is. Well done, Georgia. Fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. I've got some good answers coming in now. Yes, Sarah, Thang, Yasmin. Brilliant. Okay, so if we can have the reveal, please. So actually this comes from the bit of the syllabus where you look at shifting flows. So you've probably been taught about different flows which can affect the demographic or socioeconomic characteristics of an area. And it's likely when you've been looking at your local or your distant case study that you've focused on flows of people, flows of resources, and flows of investment. And that also links in with your global systems and global governance unit, because you will have been looking at those 3 things as well in as flows. Right, question number 3, please. Right, here, these are representations of place. Can you tell me which one is the red herring and what connects the other 3, please? Okay, hopefully this one's going to be nice and easy. Have a look at those representations of place. Which one is the red herring? Well done. Yep, thank you. We're getting them in here. Yes, they're coming in thick and fast on this one. Fantastic. Yes. Can I have the reveal, please? The red herring, of course, is census data, which is an objective source of data, which is impartial and unbiased, whereas the other 3, photography, film, and poetry, are more subjective. So they're influenced by personal feelings, opinion, or taste. Great, number 4. So another picture one. Exciting, lots of pictures today. Can you tell me which one is the odd one out and what connects the other 3, please? So which one's the red herring, the odd one out? What connects the other 3? I do like pictures. Let's see. Have I got any answers coming in? So which one do you think is the odd one out? Fantastic, George. Well done, Sarah. Great stuff. They probably all do have a Greg's tutor to you. I'm sure they do. Brilliant. Thank you, Georgia. You have given me a reason to. Can we have the reveal now, please? Thank you. So D is the odd one out, and the A, B, and C. Obviously, one is an airport, one's a shopping mall or shopping centre, and C is a UK, arguably a clone town, where High Street is dominated by chain stores. Of course, D, we can see actually the buildings there have quite a lot of character and are of architectural note. So this place has a far greater sense of place, which makes it the red herring or the odd one out. Right, can I have the final red herring, please? So we've got here these influence meaning. So which one is the red herring? Global institutions, government policy, stereotypes, or transnational corporations? Make your choice and pop it into the chat box, please. Brilliant. Very quick on this one. Well done, Ruby. Marthy, Meteor again. Very quick. Fantastic. Right. And I've got some reasons coming in. Good. Thank you very much. Could we have the reveal then, please? Yeah, it is indeed C is the red herring or the odd one out. All the other three are external agencies, so they're forces for change and they can influence meaning. Right, I'm going to go back over to Adjuraman, and he's going to be talking you through the next categorize and a picture grid.
Great, thank you, Suzanne. Another categorize from me. This time around, I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging by not actually reminding you of the definitions of qualitative and quantitative. I'm going to leave it down to you. You've all proved yourselves to be great geographers today. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Again, same thing as before, categorize them into the 2 columns in the chat for me. Off you go. So as soon as you can. You don't even need to write out the whole thing, just quan or qual to shorten it if you want. And then just the number, so qual 4, for example. Cool, thank you, Yasmin. Yeah, you're right. Well done. Yeah, thank you, Robin. Keep them coming in. Keep them coming in. Remember, you don't need to write the whole thing out. Yeah, just have a think about, I'll start giving the clues now, about which ones are based around numbers and statistics, which ones are more around words and descriptions. Yeah, I mean, 7 can't be quantitative, can it? Yeah, great. Okay, and that is time. Just give you a couple more seconds just to go and still see some answers coming in before we get that reveal. Pretty straightforward, this one. So let's just have the answers then, Jim. Okay, great. So on the left-hand side, qualitative, field sketches, which, like Suzanne was saying, I know fieldwork wasn't the easiest to conduct this year, whether you're in year 12 or year 13, but perhaps this is something you've done in your local area. Semi-structured interviews, for sure, qualitative data here. This is asking people for their opinions and thoughts, and that's done in words. Biomapping, which is an interesting practice some of you may have done, and if you haven't and you're in year 12, I'd certainly recommend you look into it. And reef photography, which you may not recognize it by that name, but it's the practice of taking a picture of one place at one point in time and then returning to it. And then on the right hand side, quantitative, we've got pedestrian counts, clone time surveys, building age, and decibel reading. So well done on those. Let's have the next activity. Okay, so a picture grid, the way it works is that behind these 6 boxes is a picture. Every time I ask you a question and you answer it correctly, a part of the image will be revealed. So at the same time, we want answers to the questions, but also as soon as you think you can have a good go at the place, then do start doing that. So let's have the first question then, Jim. What kind of data results from an in-depth interview which you conduct yourself? So if you could start that on the chat for me. In-depth interview you conduct yourself. What kind of data would you get from that? Don't be shy. Get them in the chat. Okay. It's fine to do to shorten it. It's okay. Okay. I think we've kind of got the right gist. Let's have this one then, Jim. Let's have the answer for this. So yeah, qualitative primary data. So some of you did either or. So well done if you did the full thing Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Right, let's have the next question. You're going to get a bit of the image revealed. It's just a bright sky, so not the greatest clue yet. But if you look at the bottom of the image, you might get something. What statistical technique would you use to establish the significance of a relationship between two variables? What statistical technique would you use here? Let's have some answers in the chat. Oh, Ernie, close. Not quite there. What statistical technique would that be? Oh, three different answers. We'll see who agrees with you, Georgia, George, and Yasmin. Now, 2 for Spearman's rank, 1 for t-test. Let's have the answer then, Jim. It was, of course, Spearman's rank correlation coefficient. Right, let's have the next question. Another part of the image revealed. Yep, more sky. What type of data is census data, which we've already looked at today? So a nice and quick one. What type of data is census data? Hi, Parry, welcome. So what type of data is census data? Okay, thanks, Elaine. Oh, Ruby. Thank you. Right, let's have the answer for this one. I think we were pretty much on the mark here. Yep, quantitative secondary data. Remember, always try and do both things. Let's have this reveal then. Okay, a bit more significant part of the image. What WC is a presentation technique in which the size of the words denotes their frequency and or importance? Which WC? These are very easily done by copying and pasting words onto a website. Yeah, thanks, Rebecca. Yes, loads of guesses for the image now. Word cloud. Yeah, great. Let's have this one then. They've got it, Jim. A word cloud. Very good. We've nearly all now guessed the image. What OA? This is a tough one. What OA is the smallest scale that census data is published at? What OA? What OA is the smallest scale that census data is published at? We've got silent on this one. That is part of it. Ah, thank you, Heidi. Well done. Right, let's get this answer revealed. Heidi, the only one coming in there with the correct answer. Well done. It is output area. And then let's have the final question. And by this point, the image should be pretty clear. What name is given to a technique of obtaining data from a large group of people who submit it via the internet, e.g. photos? You may have heard this word used in relation to funding for projects when people don't have enough money, but for here, it's about collecting large amounts of data. Begins with a C, this word. Let's have some guesses. I think we've all guessed which one is this one. What name is given to this technique? Okay, right. Let's reveal it. Let's have a look. This one is crowdsourcing, which is when you're obtaining large data sets from a large group of people, usually via the internet. Right, back to you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Right, we are now going to have a look at our last multiple choice questions. Okay, so fastest finger first, please. And if you're on replay, see if you can get through them as quickly as they can in our live chat. So question number 1, every place is like no place in particular. So that's a quote by James Kunstler. The concept of placelessness is often exemplified by A, clone towns, B, media places, C, the influence of endogenous factors, or D, rural villages in the UK. And we've got absolute, yes, thank you, Parry. It's very easy, this question, isn't it? Brilliant. I've got lots and lots of correct answers coming in. It is, in fact, a clone town. Right, question number 2. So a person who has a deep and broad experience of a place and is familiar with the daily routines and shared experiences can be referred to as A, a tourist, B, an outsider, C, an insider, or D, an agent of change. So pop into chat. Yes, I'm getting some brilliant stuff here. You lot, you've warmed yourselves up, so you're very, very, very quick off the mark. Fab. Right, so the answer is an insider. Right, question number 3. So, a place you have never visited but which feels familiar may be described as what? A, an experienced place, B, a far place, C, a clone town, or D, a media place? Yeah, they are on fire, aren't they, tutor to you? Well done. I can see, I think Ruby was first off there. Brilliant. Lots of correct answers again coming in. Can I have the reveal, please? It is, of course, a media place. So many places are presented through the media. So places like maybe Times Square or the pyramids of Egypt can be really familiar to us because of exposure through the media. But sometimes we do have to consider who's made that image, why have they made it, what do they want us to feel about that image, or what are they presenting to us? So sometimes we have to be a little bit critical about some of those media place representations. Right, question number 4. So Tuan, he was the humanistic geographer. His concept of topophilia may be felt for any landscape near or far, but it's often linked to what? A sense of fear, B, localism, C, a sense of alienation, or D, a mediated and marketed experience of place. It's topophilia, not topophobia. Some of you, I think you've got it the wrong way round. So just make sure you know the difference between topophilia and topophobia. Right, let's have the reveal. I've got some correct answers coming in. Absolutely, it is localism. So this is a preference for your own area or region. Right, question number 5. So another picture question. Identify the image which you think best illustrates the concept of tourist gaze. So we've got our first photo there of Pranang Beach in Thailand. It's very busy. We've got picture B there, the pyramids of Giza in Egypt. Have a look, is that what you're used to seeing? Oh, I've just noticed we've got our B's and B's wrong, haven't we? We'll say the one at the bottom there isn't B, it's C. That's Kyoto, Japan. And finally, the Eiffel Tower. Okay, so what have we got coming in? What do you think best illustrates the concept of tourist gaze? Okay, I think I've got quite a few of you. Let's thrown a few more people. Okay, let's have the reveal, please. It's D. So tourist gaze is the creation of a tourist experience, and it's often manipulated by travel agents to present a certain image of a place. So there you can see Paris being represented as the city of romance. Quite a few of you put B down there, which is the pyramids of Giza. But if you think about it, if you ever see photos of the pyramids, they never show you, or very, very rarely show you, how close it is in fact to Cairo. It always makes it look as if it's in the middle of the desert, surrounded by desert and camels and very sort of traditional Egyptian view, but actually it's right on the edge of Cairo, heavily urbanized, just on its doorstep. So it's D, that's the tourist view. Right, let's have a look at question number 6. Which of these means social division? The result is that some groups are disenfranchised. Is it A, exclusion, B, exogenous, C, sense of place, or D, positionality? Okay. Brilliant. We're getting this one. Fantastic. Right, let's have a look. I think Ruby, you're quick there. That's a couple of times you've been first off the mark. So the answer is A. Absolutely. So not allowing some people to take part or enter a place. Question number 7. So Black Lives Matter staged a protest at City Airport in London. That was to highlight the economic disparity, so that's the difference between the mostly BAME communities who live under the flight path with the airport users, so the people who actually are flying from City Airport. What do you think this is an example of? So is it A, the use of the significance of place to give greater meaning to protest? Is it B, the creation of tourist gaze? Is it C, the use of media to create a greater number of experienced meanings? Or D, to create meaning for a space which is not differentiated from other places? What do you reckon? Oh, I've got some good, well done. Yep, I can see lots of them coming in now. Can I have the reveal, please? So the answer is A, the use of significance of place to give greater meaning to the protest. And of course, that will also create non-material traces. So although the protest has finished and gone, still the memory of knowing that it was used for that will still affect the meaning of the place potentially in the future. Right, question number 8, please. So which is an example of formal data? Is it A, interviews, B, blogs, C, graffiti, or D, census data? So pop it in chat what you reckon it might be. Formal data. Yeah, well done. I've got some good answers coming in there. Absolutely correct. Let's have a reveal, please. The answer is D, census data. So formal data is controlled, objective, and systematically gathered, of which, of course, census data will be on the 21st of March. You have to check out to see if your household has filled it in and see if you can have a look at the forms or have a look online and see what some of those questions are. As geographers, it's a very exciting time for us. Right, question number 9. So, which of these is a qualitative data source? Is it the index of multiple deprivation scores, data from police force on crime statistics, geological maps of an area? Is it D, a photograph? Brilliant. Coming in straight away. Fantastic. Great. You were Parry, you were definitely first. Let's see the reveal. It is indeed a photograph. Okay, so that measures characteristics and qualities which are non-numerical. And our final question. Brilliant. So which of the following is an advantage of a primary data collection? So A, it's designed by you to answer a very specific geographical inquiry question. B, data collected is drawn for a complete sample of the population. C, the data can be accessed readily online from websites such as the ONS. And D, data collection techniques for primary data have no inaccuracies or flaws. Great. Ruby again. Fantastic. Well done. Right. Yeah, Samuel, Parry, Rebecca. Fantastic. Let's have the reveal. Primary data, of course, is designed by you. So this is what you might be doing or have done if you manage to get out and do any field work this year. So you have designed some data collection for a very specific geographical inquiry question that you created. So your hypothesis or some of your objectives. Right, now that brings us to an end. So thank you very, very much. And I just wanted to say, please join us again next week. And we're going to actually be studying some of the physical side of your course on paper 1. We'll be looking at the water from the water and carbon cycle.
So that's our first session on physical geography. Fantastic. Huge thanks to Suzanne and Abdirahman for putting this great session together. Whether you're watching us live, lots of it. Wow, how amazing were those responses in the live chat, and also we'll have lots more people watching this on replay. But what great answers, weren't they? Phenomenal.
Oh
yeah, amazing.
Really great fun tonight, and some really strong geographers.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like I need to go fill my census form in. I'm not a geographer, but I'm getting excited about it after this session. I tell you what, Suzanne Abdirahman, it's ages since I last filled a census in. It must be at least 10 years or so. I might be wrong, but anyway, I've got that pleasure to come at the weekend. But before I do that, though, we'll make sure that we pick up all the comments in the chat and on the comments in the video to pick up any other topics that students want us to cover over the next few weeks, over Easter as well, ahead of assessments. So we'll look out for those. If you get a chance, please give this session a thumbs up. That's the thumb on YouTube, because that makes Abdirahman and Suzanne particularly happy as they fill their census forms in. And also share the link to any of your schoolmates who you think might find the session useful. Don't forget, there's a replay of this that's available on YouTube and tutordu.net/live instantaneously as soon as we've finished, if you want to watch it again. And on the TutorDu site, you can also download all the slides that Suzanne and Abdirahman have put together in case you want to work your way through the slides rather than watching the video. But great session. Really enjoyed that. Right, so I think it's time to say goodbye, isn't it? Apart from the fact we'll hopefully see you all this time next week.
Till next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See ya.